Be more city, be more city, be more city. Hey, 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 be more city. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Boom, boom, boom. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Boom, boom, boom. What's up, Baltimore? What's up, Baltimore? What's the old saying? Thank God it's Friday. Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, family, you know what? Baltimore City, y'all know where I'm at with my 12-step, right? My 12-step spiritual program. Y'all know where I'm at with my 12-step spiritual program. As a person that grew up, I guess the best way I can put it, in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, right? So, you know, it's always about self-care, self-help, self-development, right? Spiritually. I didn't just confuse nobody, did I? Because that wasn't my purpose. Self-awareness, self-care, self-development. Spiritually. So, as a person with the working knowledge of the 12 steps, and I'm going to say 12 traditions, and I'm going to say 12 concepts. I've been on this spiritual journey of health and awareness. And I'm basically talking not just for myself, but the stuff that I have learned about Steve Copeland throughout the 33 years of going deep inside of myself, building a spiritual relationship with myself and the God of my understanding. And if you're not a religious man, right, which to me, my journey is more spiritual now than it is based on the religion. It's that spiritual relationship that I developed throughout the years. See, a lot of us, we understand religion. And God knows I will never, ever, 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 as long as I live, knock it. You get me? Because we understand religion, doctrine, and teaching, historical teaching. We understand the difference between organized religion and just safe, productive, religion. I'm sorry, I said religious. Religion to better our life in some cases. I just have a problem with God showed me with organized religion. God said organized religion tend to enslave and oppress my people. So let me share some things with you, family, because I don't want nobody to be confused, right? Because part of this is what I do on a daily basis. Each day that God blessed me with another beautiful day, I thank him. I thank him for this great and wonderful day that he put in my life. My relationship, and I'm going to say, in my way, is very, very important with the Father, with the Son, and with the Holy Spirit. Now, I understand it's only one God, okay? I'm not as closed-minded as I was early on in my walk. I understand God deals with us in his own special way. So I learned not to get so closed-minded on one way. But I can only, because I study and I read scripture, I can only go by what Bible tells me. Whatever you reading, whatever you studying, stick to it. Because it's only one God that we serve. One creator. Now, I use my own personal experience after reading certain things, scripture-wise. I'm talking about Bible, religious material, other spiritual material. And what I do with it, y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I'm just sharing with y'all what I do to help me live a more productive way of life. Is I use the morals, the values, the principles that's contained, within the Bible, within the religious material, within the spiritual material to live a better way of life. And you know what? I want to say this, I welcome anyone who has lived a certain way of life and their lives have changed because of their new way and their new walk. Those are the type of people, to be honest with you, I would love in my life. Now, by me being a recovering addict, keep in mind, y'all already know, the only time I will go back when people are using is to help those that wants to come out of that dark lifestyle and live a more productive way of life. So do I go to parties? Do I go to clubs? Do I go to places like that? No, I do not. If I do pop up into one, 9 times out of 10, I'm being nosy and I'm bored. And most people knows me know Steve is not the type that be popping up in clubs and dances. And I used to early on in my walk, right? But as I begin to grow, once again, spiritually, and it's not to knock nobody that goes there and does that. It's just I don't indulge in that way. Okay? And it's not to knock nobody. But look, I wanted to just talk a little bit to wait for my other, what's up, Maxwell? Wait for my other live streams to give me notifications that they're on and they're broadcasting while I'm sitting here. Now, in the process of saying this, right, I'm going to do this again. Y'all know I'm talking about my 12-step spiritual journey. Okay? I sponsor men and women to help them put their lives back in order. I have a housing program where I work with men, women, and women with children. The same things, helping them put their lives back in order. But I don't do it by myself. There are other housing programs that's out there and businesses that's doing the same things I do to help provide services for our low to moderate income people that fell on hard time. And you can be somebody, life who was going well, great, and it took a turn. It's programs out here, and it's the whole goal of me coming on here to let y'all know. There are programs out here. not just recovery program, but housing programs, financial programs, career-minded programs, workforce development programs. But the goal is what I'm saying, right? We got to break that slave mentality. That's why I love my 12-step spiritual program, because it taught me how to learn to love and go inside of me. It taught me how to learn to love and go inside of me to become a more independent man, father, ex-husband, grandfather, uncle. My spiritual journey helped me to become in love, watch this, with me. You don't have to love me. I do. And I try not to do those things today because I love me to hurt me like I used to. And you can learn to not to continue doing those things that cause you a lot of pain, a lot of harm, a lot of misery. Today, Friday, March the 6th, 2026. I will say the day every day because that's all we have right now. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow isn't really promised. You just got for the day. Okay? So in sharing this, slave mentality. Slave mentality. It's a mindset characterized by deep-seated dependency, fear, passivity, and a belief that one is destined for limited access or oppression. And if you don't understand what it's saying, right, it's talking to you and basically saying you need to learn to be more independent and stop relying on other people's decision, thoughts, and all that for you in your life. If it often involves accepting low standards, fears, authority, and seeking validation from superiors, stem from historical, social, or personal conditioning. Stems from, sorry, I said stem. It stems from generation of generation, right? Passed down. And it's talking about mainly our ancestors. Now, if your ancestors, some of them, went through depression, oppression, trials, tribulations, that's what we do. That's what we do. Some of them bowed down to the master or that controlling factor. They allow these type of entities to run and control their lives. And if we look back at slavery, right, some of them didn't have no choice. Some of them fought for change. Some of them got unalive or lost their lives for change. I can tell you no matter what went on in my past history. Y'all see this handsome dude right here? Steve Copeland here. And my great grandfather, my great grandfather, father was a white man. Not my grandfather. My great, his grandfather, his father was a white man by the name of Copeland. And this was after slavery. That my great-great-grandmother had my great-grandfather and 3 other children. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, when I look at the Copeland name as a whole, look at the Copelands. It's a powerful name. I'm not saying your name not, but look at the Copeland. Breaking that slave man mentality. Breaking the slave mentality, right? I personally do not like nobody telling me what to do and how to do it. I lived a life of corruption. Now that I know better, it's like I'm on this spiritual journey and not being smart. I do not, unless I come to you and ask you for help. But I do not like for anyone trying to run and dictate my life. No. Now, if you do, that's fine. I'm telling you where I'm at. Some of y'all like people taking control of you and your responsibilities. Let's be real. So the goal is understanding where your power is at. Understanding the things that you have lost control over your life with because it gained more control over you. That's the first admission. Whatever that's running your life that you are not managing and you don't have no control over, you are a slave to it. Number one, once you recognize it and see it for what it is, you surrender. That's the point of letting it go. Because when you realize like how your life is spiraling out of control, because of the information that you are running on, and you keep making the same mistakes, or you keep doing the same things, expecting different outcomes, but it keeps you in bondage, it's to let you know it's time to let it go. It's not working for you no more. So when I was able to admit my powerlessness, not really realizing at that time, when I admitted my powerlessness, that I've lost control or I was losing control, my life had become unmanageable. I didn't realize I gained control by admitting control. No control. And I couldn't do it by myself. It was other people that helped me gain a life worth living. They was called predecessors. They was called sponsors. People that already was here when I got here, was there when I got there, right? I apologize for the words. Who lives was already in order. Who was living productive, spiritual ways of life. Once I was able to admit my powerlessness, I gained power. I had to believe in the power greater than myself, other than Steve Copeland. I had to understand the information that Steve was running off, kept running him into a hole, kept running his back up against the wall. So I yelled out, "Help me, God, help me." God help me. He put other people in my lives that's been there and was willing to help me, show me how to live a new way of life. So I started believing in them because they was the first things I began to see. For people that had at that time, you know, I had stopped drinking. Thank God. He took that desire from me 6 months before I came into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I never thought I would stop drinking. I was willing to go out with my boots on in the middle of the street. God had other plans. I don't know about y'all. I can only talk about me. But I tell you what, whenever I open up my mouth, somebody somewhere need to hear what I say or what I'm saying. Somebody somewhere is struggling. Somebody somewhere right now cannot make it out to a 12-step spiritual program, but you got one right here in front of you. You got a person that's sharing his experience, his strengths, and his hopes. If you don't want to learn how to live a new way of life, you can keep it moving. If you love this messy tick-tock, chaos, confusion, bull junk, you can keep it moving. Yup, bye. Because I know somebody said, oh, he talking to me? Yup, bye. Ain't nobody got time for that. So in that process of watching other people with more clean time or already set in this way of life, living by some morals, values, and spiritual principles, then got an understanding of themselves for themselves, learning to love themselves, care for themselves. I wanted that. I wanted all that back inside of me. I lost it through the process of doing what I was doing back then, living a destructive way of life. So in that process of coming to believe in the power greater than myself, having faith in this process, having faith in myself, I made the decision. I made the decision after realizing how out of control my life had become. I came to believe that a power greater than myself would restore me from that bull crap that I used to do back in the days. We say restore me to sanity because I was practicing some insane behaviors, living a corrupt lifestyle. So I had to come to believe that's what's working for them will also work for me. So I made the decision by trusting in that process too. I made the decision to turn my will and my life over to a higher power. You can call it good orderly direction. You can call it God. You can call it Jesus Christ. You can call it Yahweh. You can call it Buddha. You can call it Allah, whatever your religion is, okay? Because at this time, you're starting to grow. I made the decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. I made the decision, and I'm going to say this to you because a lot of y'all don't take this journey. You might have just made the decision to stop, and that's fine. If you had the strength and the courage to just leave it alone, that was you. Stop trying to make it seem like somebody else, because God knows. I appreciate y'all. I do. Because for some of us, right, keep in mind, it's not that goddamn easy. So sometimes you got to watch it. And don't ever make a using person, right, feel like. Sometimes you can just tell them, you just stop, just leave it alone. Listen to what I just said out my mouth. You can just stop, leave it alone. It sounds easy, don't it? But when you running from a bunch of life trauma, when you running from a bunch of pain and misery, from childhood on up, look how they look. 9 times out of 10, when they not in their right frame of mind, and it's like they look like they walking zombies. That's because they trying to sedate and hide the pain. And the first thing you'll say out your mouth, just leave it alone. And it can be food. It can be sex or smacks for TikTok's sake. It could be gambling. It could be lying. It could be manipulating. But if you don't understand the disease of addiction, let somebody like myself explain it to you. With 33 going on 34 now, a day at a time. Been living this. I don't care where you at, what's going on in your life. You need somebody to help you walk up out of this? That's the goal. And stay up out of it a day at a time? That's the goal. Rather it's food, rather it's smacks, rather it's gambling, rather it's lying, rather it's cheating. You don't want me to help you. Because guess what? My goal is I'm going to help you look at yourself. So come to me and ask me to help you and watch and see what he do. Because I want you to learn to love and respect yourself and understand you are better than anything that you're caught up in. Any habit forming situation in your life. You get it? Breaking those habits. Breaking that slave mentality. Oh, I can't do it. I'm afraid. You can't. But number one, you got to have a desire to want to change. You got to have a desire. Sometimes what people do, they get clean for everybody else, but not really themselves, right? You have to have a desire. Nobody can measure your desire. That's something in here for you. It's like you have to hit that bottom. Boom. That's what happened with me. Things were spiraling completely out of control. So I went to Total Health Care. That was my beginning. And they gave me a list to AA and NA meetings. Somebody told me to plant my feet in one of them, either AA or NA. When I went to AA, by this time I had 6 months clean from the alcohol. So what they were saying, it was like I couldn't relate no more because I wasn't caught up. You get me? but I understood not just the alcohol, but the addiction within itself. That's why if y'all hear me say I'm an addict, I'm only saying I have an obsessive and compulsive behavior. I can't do one of nothing. I will do it to extreme. Mainly if it makes me feel good and takes me outside of myself. And what I started realizing, family, during the time, even after I got clean, I was Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized, 5 years in the church, didn't want to sin and all that stuff. The devil is a liar. It wasn't like I was trying to go out there and I planned to, and it was times when I did. But guess what? I thank God I'm still here. I don't know about y'all. I thank him. 64 years old. Came around when I was 30. It just turned 31. I thank God that I'm here to tell somebody. See, I ain't like a lot of y'all. I ain't behind the pulpit. I'm on the talk show, the couch conversation show. Okay? And don't get offended because I got ordained deacon. And deep in my spirit, that was in 2009, but deep in my spirit, I know I'm a minister for Christ. So I'm back in the community. If y'all know anything about a deacon in a deacon position, come on, let's talk. You know Bible. Are you walking in it? Or you study quoting it? Well, anyway, we admitted we was powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. We came to believe in a power greater than ourselves that would restore us to sanity. We made the decision. Listen to what I'm saying. I made the decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of a higher power. I made the decision. It was a conscious decision after looking at the destruction that I was practicing in my life, how it almost took my life, how I was doing stuff by poisoning back the community to gain a profit, but I was poisoning the community. I got to watch certain words for TikTok. You get me? So please catch what I'm saying, Baltimore City. Because once I came out of it and I looked back, that's when I realized the destruction that I was bringing to our people. Even though I did some great things too, but I did not. And y'all can say what you want. When you caught up in it, you caught up in it. You will justify and rationalize that behavior to make it right, even though it's wrong. Be honest with yourself. That's why this is the Couch Talk Show, keeping it real. Because that's what I do. I don't feel like I need to lie to nobody because I'm not lying to me today. I don't feel the need to lie to me. I don't feel the need to manipulate, to cheat, and do all that stuff I used to do. I can talk about that because I ain't caught up today. So I can talk about it. Rather you feel comfortable, I don't want anybody to know my business. That's your story. I've been sharing my story for 33 years. So after making the decision to turn my will and my life over to a higher power, right? By this time, I'm learning how to be honest with myself. I'm learning how to have faith back in myself. I'm learning how to trust back in myself. Basically, I'm learning to gain a relationship, a personal relationship with me, not about y'all, with me. I'm not running from me now. As a process of applying these spiritual principles, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, it took me on a deeper level because, number one, y'all hear people say, right, we got to uncover, to discover, how to recover. You got to uncover, Mr. Copeland, to discover, Mr. Copeland, how to better recover, Mr. Copeland. So I had to do that fourth step. That's honesty once again on a deeper level inside. I had to start going inside of Steve Copeland to find out what caused Steve Copeland to reach out for the, back in the days, what caused Steve Copeland, 13 years old, Thunderbird, what caused Steve Copeland, 14 years old, the Coca-Cola. Between 14 and 15, intravenously, a 14, 15-year-old kid. And you're wondering why yours out there acting, trying to unalive themselves. I didn't know it was that at the time, but I understand it now. Because of the pain and the misery that was going on inside. And y'all wonder why our children running around in Baltimore City and other cities acting and behaving the way they're doing. Do you know why your child is hurt? If you do not know why your child is hurt, if you do not understand what's going on with them, look at your parenting skills. Look at yourself. I remember my mother asking me, now that was that time, son, what is wrong with you? Because of what I was doing. That's why I started the Be More Real Teen Talk show, giving our youth a voice. Don't get it confused. Be More's Real Teen Talk show, giving our youth a voice. At that time, I didn't know what was going on with me to tell my mother, Ma, I'm hurting. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. You get me? Giving our youth a voice. This is what the Teen Talk show is all about. Parents, listen and do our best not to judge them in case they say some things that we might not like or appreciate. You get me? Well, God dang it, because we knew we should have been better as far as paying more attention. I'm just saying it because I love that little prompts I be saying when the parents be like, we listen and we don't judge. I said, oh, I like this. And the kids be saying some of the most outrageous stuff, but it be funny. But what I realized, family, our children need that. They need to release that stress, that pressure of life. That's the way I released it. They don't have to. That's the way I released it. They don't have to. And to be honest with you, I had a cup, something like this. I forgot what color it was. It was the plastic cups, with the tops to them, the Tupperware things, full of bird. My first time, 13. You couldn't tell me I wasn't. I was older now. You get 13. You get me? Right? So that's why I share, y'all. That's why I share. And the reason why, keep in mind too, listen to what I'm saying, because you might have a child or a teenager that's acting out in a certain way that kind of reminds you of what Mr. Steve is saying. Do not cut them down. Do not lay them out. If you got to get them, and it's not if you've been doing everything you can to help them, sometimes they too close. So yes, you will have to get them counseling. You will have to send them to therapy. You will have to, oh my God, please come on. Get them a mentor. You have male mentors, and you have some males that will mentor young girls too. But you have women that will mentor young girls as well. Well, you know that one. But I'm just saying, just in case, right? I didn't mentor young girls. I mentor young men, but not young girls. You know. I'm gonna just say point blank, you gotta be strong in those areas. When you dealing with teenagers, you get me? So listen deeply from a man to other men and some women. You get it? You know, it can be challenging. And keep in mind, I got daughters, so I watched them as they grew up. I'm sorry, I said grow up. I watched them as they grew up. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta get me a rifle. I gotta get the pew pew. You know, I got look, as fathers, believe me, we go through those little challenges. My baby ain't no little baby. But now look, so I won't get too far away from y'all. After doing that first step, the second step, and third step, I had to do a fourth step. And we talk about uncovering. So I had to go back and look inside of myself. First, I prayed, and I was sitting in the living room, and it was the lights was bright. It was brighter than this, be honest. But it went dark because I went inside of myself. That's when you start taking that fearless more inventory, because you have the courage and the confidence now to look back over your life. You get me? And I'm talking about that pain, those struggles from what happened back in the past that's causing your life a lot of pain and misery today. And I shared this the other day, and because of my 12-step journey, I will share it again. I will share it again. I will share it again. So anybody that's a recovering addict in a 12-step spiritual program, this is your platform. If you don't give a freak, keep moving. I refuse not to share my experience, strengths, and hopes. I refuse. After God delivered me, and I'm at that point in my life because my life has changed, and I don't care about you. I can't fix everybody. I know that. But you got to be willing. But look, I had to go inside of myself. I had to face those, what we say, demons. I had to look back at the things I was running from. So I'm starting to uncover, to discover how to recover. I had to go inside the self. I had to look at the anger. I had to look at the fear. In some of our cases, we had to look at the rape. We had to look at the grape for TikTok's sake, the molestation, the fondling for TikTok's sake, the abuse, the abandonment issues, the mental, verbal, emotional, physical. I had to go back inside as far as I can go. Seeing the young boy in the corner, which was me. And I'm not just sharing my story, I'm sharing this story with a lot of y'all that can relate. Okay? But it was the grown man that had to embrace that boy, that child. So when I walked over to that child and I'm in myself, I had to grab him and hold him and said, I got you. The adult man had to comfort that little boy and say, I got you, to protect that boy inside of me. That hurt man. Well, it hurt boy. And say it's okay. I'm talking to myself. I'm inside of myself. I don't play when it comes to this. I don't play when it comes to people's lives. To our lost generation of people, I don't play. I'm not like a lot of y'all who wants to rob and steal and take and gain off of our people pain and misery. That's not where my spirit is at. Let me make that clear. And like I said something to somebody the other day, they're going to jump on one of these platforms and repeat my story. But try to twist it to make me look bad. I said, let me tell you something. Number one, I don't have to do nothing that I do. When it comes to sponsoring people, when it comes to helping people, I can be that self-centered, no good, rotten like you person if I want to be. But guess what? And I'm not talking about you personally. So don't take it personal. Because you know I'm just saying the ones right that feel as though everybody wasn't called. So keep in mind. So I'm not talking about you. But I'm talking about the ones who struggled and been through stuff and God turned their lives around. I'm not talking about if that's not your story. God knows I'm not talking about you. Because you can give words of encouragement of maybe how you tried certain things. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I just say, don't y'all know that goes a long way? Just to help somebody understand. It wasn't for me. I ain't like it. I let it go. I tried it a few times. I'd be like, what? And I got 33 years clean. And y'all know, y'all say stuff like that to me, I'd be amazed. Wow. But I had to go in. And I had to look at that anger. I had to look at the resentment. I had to look at the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment. I had to look at the jealousies, the insecurities, the distrust. I had to look at those things. And I'm talking about the negative side of me, right? Because of that, I would act out in a violent way because I had to build that wall up and that wall of protection. You know what I mean? I ain't had no problem back in the day. Pew, pew. 32, I carried in my pocket. 15 years old. Sawed-off shotgun. 15 years old. Machete. 15 years old. For protection. And to show it off too. Like my nephew said. Either to hurt you, it was either to hurt you, right? Or to stop you from hurting me. And if you had to go down first, I wasn't letting my left hand know what my right hand doing. I was told, get it done. Thank God. So I'm talking about sitting down, right? I went inside of me, looking at that little boy. I came up out of it, right? my sponsor at the time, after writing, taking that inventory of myself and writing stuff down, looking at the anger, the fear, the resentment, I was looking at those things that caused a lot of pain and misery in my life, in your life, because I took a lot out on you. I no longer feel comfortable like that no more. I no longer feel comfortable lying, manipulating, being deceitful, plotting to hurt you. Sometimes the thoughts will come across, but it's like, God, please help me. Excuse me, family, not to act out on those behaviors again. So where I was carrying a lot of anger, fear, resentments, I had to learn to forgive. I had to learn how to love. I had to learn that whatever happened in my past, it happened. I can't change it. You get me? That's the past. It's already done. So acceptance in that area I learned was the key. Forgiveness in that area I learned was the key. Acceptance and forgiveness for the things that I done to hurt other people. Then I had to learn to forgive the things that other people had done to me in order to me to be forgiven myself. Because I wasn't no different. I might have did things in a different way compared to some. You get me? But I had to learn to love myself, to forgive myself, to accept the fact that the past was the past and it's done, and I cannot change it. No matter what was done to me or what I did to them, it was done. So what I had to learn to do, family, recognizing the destructive side of me, that angry side of me, that hateful side of me, that miserable side of me, I had to pray and ask God to remove those things from me a day at a time. I'm talking about changing my character defects. So I had to replace them with like love, kindness, gentleness, compassion. Look what I just said. Look what I just said. I'm talking about those character defects that cause us pain and misery all our lives. I had to learn to replace it with love, forgiveness, acceptance. And and as I was saying it, right, the reason why I said, look what I say, because I realized, again, these are the things that I had to learn to start feeling inside for myself. Once again, I'm on that road of loving Steve again, treasuring Steve. So I can sit here and say, I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate person. I love that side of me. I love it. And I recognize when I get angry, but I try not to act out in a destructive way. You get me? So as soon as I see it, I'll be like, no. God help me. Somebody, I'm just saying, I can't act out. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the stuff I used to do in a harmful way, I always like to hit here, right? Because it's the flesh, right? It's that mental state. It's that mind. It's the you get me? So I look at this like my spiritual side. No, Steve, you can't do this. No, Steve, she do look good though, but nah, don't go there. Oh, that outfit look nice, don't it? Yeah, I want to go get me those shoes and that outfit. No, costs too much. Matter of fact, you already brought a pair. You got something coming from whatever. Don't let nobody know your ancient Chinese secret. No, Steve. No. And I had to learn to start telling myself no, mainly, I'm a diabetic. So y'all know, chocolate. I got to tell myself no. I weigh 187 pounds. I've been big all my life. When the home care lady came out and checked everything, my A1C is 5.4, she said. My A1C never. I can't even tell you. When was the last time it was that low? But I'm trying to do everything I can to wing off the meds. You get me? Just got Dr. CB booking today, right? Just got Dr. CB's book in today. So I'm going to start juicing and all that good stuff. You know, I'm already walking. Matter of fact, I got that leg thing, right? And I got this right here. So I said, Steve, since you can't make it, I'll start using. I'm talking about learning to be more healthier, family. Praying and asking God to remove those characters of defects. Staying in a more positive and healthy mindset because I love me. Breaking that slave mentality. You cannot tell me what I can do and what I cannot do. You are not going to run my life. The blessing is, and please catch it, the blessing is I got this side of my life that caused me a bunch of pain and confusion. And I got this side of my life. See how we come together with it? I'm still the same individual. But the good side is I want the good qualities, the morals, the values, the spiritual principles to shine out more than that dark side. So we humbly ask him to remove them. Those things that cause us pain and misery. Just for today. Just for today. When y'all hear me yelling and when y'all hear me screaming, stop thinking he's hurt. Stop thinking something wrong with him. That's just I am. I am. My mouth is my biggest weapon. Look what I'm doing. I'm speaking out towards corruption, towards breaking that slave man mentality. Oh, I ain't gonna be nothing in my life. Fear and submission. And this is something that I'm reading as well, right? A constant fear of authority or punishment, leading to obedience and avoiding risk. That's why I always talk about encouragement, empowering, strengthening, motivating the individual. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? And then the sad part about it, right? And I'm on TikTok. And I'm going to tell you, the way a lot of people act on TikTok, I already know the life that I deal with here with our people and helping people turn their lives around. Knowing people dealing with like psychological issues and stuff like that. Oh my God, this is a hoax. And I'm going to tell you, I already know that a lot of my clients need, help. I already know it. But God darn it, y'all done slipped under the radar on TikTok. You talking about messy. But look, But I realize y'all got a job to do too. If you miserable, you're going to do what needs to be done to make everybody else's life miserable. But in your mind, you're happy, joyous, and free. You're a liar. Nowhere in the world. And I'm talking about where I'm at today on my spiritual journey. The goal is to make anybody's life miserable. You can twist it, fix it how you want. I'm talking about Steve Copeland. Settling for less. The belief that one can never achieve more. Resulting in accepting the bare minimum in life and work. What did I say? When you sign up for my housing program, the whole goal is to meet you at the level of where you at. Meet you at the level of where you at. To help you grow financially, economically. That's why you hear me talk about the career-minded programs. If you're working at a McDonald's, Burger King's, Wendy's, stuff like that for right now, just to have some income coming in, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have to rely and depend on TSA, SNAP, and all of that right now because you're not financially stable to like stand up on your own, it's okay for right now. These programs was not designed for you to be on it forever. This is part of the dependency they talking about. That slave man mentality. Where you have to rely, you choose to, on state and government funding. So if you at a point where you want to increase your finances, because you only making, say, $15 an hour, but you want to make at least 20, 25, 30. Most of your career, apprenticeship programs, you can make around about 20-something dollars an hour, 30, 40, 50. Yep. But you got to get out that mindset of thinking that you can't. There are programs out there to help you move forward. You got to believe in yourself. So you have programs like mine. You have programs, and I'm gonna say for our ex-offenders, our returning citizens. This is what the FACE program is all about. Helping our ex-offenders, returning citizens, put their lives together. This is what Marlo Hargrove does. And it's a lot more programs out there like that. Janet Graham. She don't just work with the adults, she worked with the teenagers as well. That needs a place coming home. From juvenile and all of that. Homeless services. Now understand, I'm sharing about my 12-step spiritual program. This was something that I had to do to go back inside of Steve. To learn to build a relationship with Steve. So that's why you hear me say, if you hear me say, I had to uncover, to discover how to recover. And when I go from there, I'm going to go into the process. And I'm talking about that character. I'm talking about that personality. I'm talking about that individual that used to be a lying, manipulating, no good son of a Seabiscuit, no longer feel comfortable like that inside. Okay? You can hold on to yours. I like the peace I have in my life. I don't have to be up under everybody like I used to be at one point. I don't have to try to be everywhere like I used to try to be at one point. I just focused on what I need to do for the body of Christ on my spiritual journey. So in that process, right, once I started realizing the stuff that I'd done in the past, I had to make a list of the people. And not just that. I'm going to speed it up real quick. I had to put my name on that list because I did a lot of harm to me. I had to learn to apologize to my own self for the things that I did to myself, how I felt about life. So now here comes your forgiveness and your acceptance. Now remember, a lot of people hurted me and I hurted a lot of people, but it wasn't about that. I had to go back and make amends to those that I hurted, because now what do I look like? Saying, God, forgive me for my sins or the stuff that I done, but then I can't forgive you. But God, I want him to forgive me. You're a hypocrite. Do you realize that? When you fall short for something that you did that could actually get you arrested or have gotten you arrested, and you didn't get arrested, you thank God that you got through that. And the thing is, you don't practice that, or you try not to do that again. But a lot of y'all, I ain't forgiving nobody. I ain't doing it. No, that's you. You ain't got to forgive whoever. Guess why? Because they still moving on with their lives. You stuck with it. So I had to learn to forgive Steve. Most of all for the stuff that I caused in other people's lives. And you know, it's a vice versa thing. But I had learned that. Let it go, Steve. It's not an easy thing, but I tell you what, a day at a time, I try not to carry all that bull crap. And it was people that I had to go back to, apologize to them for the craziness that I did, right? Do y'all know how good that felt when I did? It was like a sigh of relief, because I'm not carrying that shame and that guilt no more. That's why I can say I got some peace in my life today. That's why I could sit here and take a look at Steve, right? And go into a state of prayer and meditation. Mainly if I'm feeling uncomfortable about something, I can just sit here and take a 10-step inventory. Because the goal is to get some peace. So I'm going to pray. And prayer is communicating with God. You can fix it and play with it all you want. Prayer is communicating, talking with God. Meditation is listening to his response. So that's why a lot of times we have to quiet the mind down and listen. And I learned early on from not sitting still long enough. If you don't sit still long enough to listen for his answer, I realize he speaks through people to answer whatever it is that I asked him. So it's not to shut people out. That's why when you talking, I hear you. But most importantly, I will attach to your spirit to hear what he's saying from you to me. That's stuff I learned. I can say this, family, being honest with myself. Sometimes I might not sit still long enough meditating, you get me, to receive an answer. But as I listen with my spirit as you speak, he makes it clear. I was like, oh, thank you. You might not even know why, but I know. Because you opened yourself up to allow him to use you. That's why when I tell y'all I'm proud of you, stuff like that, you be like, oh, I do. No, but the point is you allow God to use you, not even realizing it. That's what I started learning. Then I just shared the 10th and 11th step with y'all. It's just something I practice in my life on a daily basis. Once God make his will known to me, if it's for me to go out to help in the community, to encourage, to empower, to come on the couch talk, to come on the team talk and share about certain things that he laid on my mind and my heart to come out my mouth. Y'all can call it ego, you can call it pride, you can call it whatever you want in a negative way. But I call it courage. I call it confidence. Empowerment of the Holy Spirit. Because a lot of times your flesh don't want you to be obedient to God. Did y'all know that? So many of y'all been called. So many of y'all been called. No different than me. A lot of y'all been called, but you scared to be obedient to that calling because you feel like you're going to fail. You ain't even gave it a try. And then some in the ministry might have made the decision to slip back and then stepped off the ministry. And you know, if you tell me, I'm going to tell you, you know you can't stay away too long. Because I know for a fact, if you're not walking in your calling, you ain't got no peace in your life. And you can lie to yourself. Because you know you're not being obedient to God, to the word. So in saying all of this, and I'm looking at the mental mentality, that slavery, that bondage within here, I'm not enslaved here like I used to be in an unhealthy way at one point. I'm not. So I'm just saying this, right, to help you break some of the stuff that's going on in your head. One thing I had to learn, dependency. Stop. Relying on a master, a boss, the government system, or society, or the societal system to dictate the choices, to dictate your life choices. You hear what you get what I'm saying? To dictate your life choices. That's the system, rather than exercising your own autonomy. Scarcity, it talks about the mindset as well. Focusing on immediate survival or gratification rather than long-term strategic plans. I'm sorry. That's why it's good to go to counseling. That's why it's good to go to a therapist. And I'm just saying this because, like, when your life has fallen out of order, you want somebody, because of you running off your own unhealthy stuff, right, to now help you in a more positive and productive way. If you're still stuck in like old behaviors and stuff like that, whoever you talking with or whoever working with you, it's not working, right? Because you haven't grown. But understand, the suggestions that they give you, you are the ones that have to apply them in order to turn it around. If you're not applying it, to recover, that's on you. It's not your counselor. It's not your therapist. It's not your sponsor. It's not your pastor. If somebody is working with you to move your life into a more healthier, productive way, but you get to that point, you don't want to do the work, that's you. And a lot of times, we are in survival mode. Rather than doing the right things to come up out of it. Resentments and comparison. I had to look at myself with this as well, right? Defining one's worth in opposition to others. I have to stop measuring myself. You might be living a more quality way of life. You might be more advanced financially, materialistically. That's fine. But because I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate person, your material things and your wealth don't make you no better than me. Why would I want to walk around feeling jealous of you? Why would I want to walk around carrying resentment because you did the necessary work to become successful? And anytime I might see certain things and I might go in my head, oh, I wish. God dang it, I haven't done it in a long time. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. I wish I was this. I wish I was that. No. Come on. 64 years old. If I'm not happy with my life at 64, because look, I'm on the other side. If my life not in order by now, so for a lot of y'all that's in your 20s and 30s and 40s, and you still trying to discover your life, or you trying to still develop a life worth living, I'm in granddaddy mode now. I'll be at the cookout. I'm going to sit in my rocking chair, or I'm going to sit in my fold-up chair and cross my leg. I ain't cooking nothing. Now it's y'all turn. How many of y'all can say that? Can grandbaby. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. At 64 years old, what will am I going to reinvent? Before a lot of y'all say stuff like, age ain't nothing but a number. Excuse me, I apologize. I just burped. Dang, y'all was right. Age ain't nothing but a number. Tell it to my body now. I'm trying to get the energy and all of that so I can start running and jumping rope, and I'm trying to jump. Walking is not the problem. I was saying I want to go run. I jumped about to be dancing, breaking down. I'm only sharing this because if you're a lot younger than that, you'll never understand until you hit that age of retirement. Where I ain't got to go punch a clock. I am the clock. You get me? And I started realizing that. A lot of the stuff I used to do, and I'm looking at my life coming up to now. All my children are grown. I'm in granddad mode. Recovering at it. Thank you, God. My 12-step spiritual journey. I'm a minister for Christ. The goal is to go back, get with others, God-fearing people that's actually in the community doing the necessary things. Now, I'm not going to read it all off, right? These are organizations in Baltimore City and businesses that's doing great work. The majority of them are Black. Check it out. I got 25 on this side and 25 on this side. That's 50 all together. Now I'm going to ask y'all this, and I'm going to end this. As a community activist, as a community organizer, as a homeless advocate, as a human rights advocate, why would I have stuff like that? Knowing our politicians, and I got some of them on there too. I got Coy McCray on there, Antonio Glover on there. I got Antonio Hayes on there. I got Councilmember James Torrance on there. I got Donnie Morton on there from Be More News. Why would I have these people names on there? Why would I have these people? And guess what? Every one of them, or every name I mention, they know me, I know them, because of the work that they're doing in Baltimore City. And what I started realizing in Baltimore City, they doing the best they can. Governor Westmore, Mayor Brandon Scott, when Sheila Dixon was in, Mayor Pugh was in, when Marilyn Mosby was in. And I'm not saying that Ivan Bates ain't doing a great job. But I'm just saying, look at the people that they came up against and why. Because they was representing the people. And y'all missed it. It flew right over your head. Because they made you think or feel like they was actually against you when they was fighting for you. I didn't realize that for a while. No, let me back it up. Until that bull crap happened with me 3 years ago when they came together to create some charges to lock me up. Anytime somebody out here trying to fight for your righteousness, now everybody don't go to prison, everybody don't go through all that. But watch the ones that's actually doing the work to try to help their community. Now, mind you, I didn't see all that at first, but it wasn't until that happened to me I realized when you stand up and fight and you basically, I was running off at my mouth. Knowing that at the time I'm with Communities United. I'm dealing with the Republican Party. I'm dealing with the Democrats. Well, I moved from the Democrats to the Republicans. And I found out they wasn't no different. You can run off at your mouth all you want. Politics is politics. But not with Steve Copeland, because I started seeing y'all suckers for who you are. But I started understanding evil and goodness have his work to do. Anytime you agree with cutting out assistance, government or state assistance programs to help our homeless and less fortunate individuals, that's not what Christ came here for. But y'all want to talk spiritual talk, right? Y'all want to talk religious talk. Let's go there. Let's go there. Because if you sit in front of me again and you try to throw scriptures, Republican, I'm coming for you. Because the whole goal with everything we do is to help set his people free. That the state and the government is oppressing and enslaving. You don't know? I almost called your name just now, brother. I just caught myself. Minister for Christ. You agree when people paying their hard-earned tax money for these government programs, these state programs, that's what the taxes are for. SNAP, for those that need it. Yeah, you got some abusing the system. I understand that. Help them find a better way to be more independent. Ain't that what y'all say, Republican Party? Help them find a way to be more independent. That's what y'all told me. So they don't have to rely on state and government funding. Ooh, where you at? But I see the events y'all be putting on. I see how y'all party every other day at these events. I'm wondering, what are you actually doing to help the people? Rather to impress whatever position you have with other ones. Now, can you understand why Steve Copeland ain't tracking y'all down like that? You bunch of fake phonies. Let me stop, because y'all know I was real good at doing that. Y'all know, Steve. Go there, Steve. God, please help me. But it is what it is. I realize this, family. Thank you, Bishop Carrington. Because I had said something to Bishop Carrington about that. And Bishop Carrington told me, he said, Steve, everything has its purpose. So when you look at what we're dealing with, like good and evil, good and evil, what I had to understand as a man of God, I serve him first, no matter what. I serve him and his people. So as a politician, you're a God-fearing politician. You serve him first and his people, because they're the ones that voted you in. I'm not a politician. I already know this. They are the ones that voted you in position to fight for them, because they believe in your message. And if you turning your backs on them, I refuse. I don't want that shame and that guilt to kick my butt. I know if I mislead people as a person who God delivered from drugs and alcohol, smugs and alcohol for TikTok's sake, as a God delivered me from that and said, who can better go back and help my people, Steve Copeland? That's why I had to make a list of other community associations and nonprofits and businesses that's doing, trying to improve. Oh, no. I don't want to say try. They are improving. It might not seem like your family because it's like one bad apple spoiled the whole bunch. You get it? So it's something that can happen in one area and it'll make it look like it's happening in all areas. That's not true. I can tell you that person. But it's the hype. So Baltimore City, I love y'all. I was going to only do my 45 minutes. Y'all know I said from 6 to 8, which is not 8 o'clock yet. But I thank y'all for the love and the support. Each day that I come on, Monday through Friday, is the Couch Talk Show. And it is about my 12-step spiritual journey. So if you're in AA, if you're in NA, if you're in any other 12-step spiritual program, if you're not able to make it and you want to come on, I'm going to send some stuff out to y'all for right now to at least come over to TikTok, right? If you go on my regular Facebook page, which is Stephen Copeland 909 at yahoo.com, which is Facebook. I don't know. I ain't understand at the time, but it's Facebook. That will bring you to my regular Facebook page, which I'm live streaming to. And the other one is Steve Copeland. But if you go there and you send me a message, I can't see your message. If you on YouTube, I can't see your message. If you're on, well, I already mentioned my 2 social media pages. If you on TikTok, which is Twitter, TikTok, no, TikTok is over here. But if you on Twitch and Twitter, and if you send a comment, I can't see it because I'm live streaming to it. I won't be able to see it until I come on my regular broadcast network. And I've been still trying to figure it out because I have to send y'all the link to it. So I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna find somebody to really work with me because people say they're gonna help me with this and help me with that and my own little broadcast network thing. You get me? Where we could do the Couch Talk Show like this, right? And then we can do the Teen Talk Show on Saturdays and Sundays from 6 to 8. But now, normally when I start, I'll end this, but I might go longer on TikTok because on TikTok, that's when people tend to pop in once I shut my mouth so they can come in and, do what they do, which I don't have no problem with that. That's why I'm going to go ahead and end my live. I'm going to end it. I opened it up. The goal is for me to open it up so people can come on here and encourage and empower others. Yes, this is a talk show, and I am going to talk. But I don't have a problem with listening to, because I don't have all the answers. So a lot of y'all normally pop in when it's around 8, 9, all of that. I'm not going through that. I got to do what God called me to do. And I understand that this is not for everybody. Some of y'all have roles you want to play, like you're really doing a great job in your community and you got things going. I'm going to question you to see if you really about it. And that's not being smart. What city you from? What community you working in? What other organizations are you partnering with? That's how I can tell whether you're serious about doing things. When you hear me mentioning certain names of investors in Baltimore City that's rehabbing and revitalizing houses, matter of fact, I'm going to pull out one. Bree Jones. She's from New York. She's up in Baltimore City rehabbing houses for low-income people. I met her when I was with Communities United. It's some women in Baltimore City that's rehabbing houses for low to moderate income people. It's a lot. Oh my God. Corey McCray. That's why when I stretched my list, I was getting ready to put it in the book. Take it from here and put it in the book. I said, no, I'm gonna finish it from here. Senator Corey McCray, providing affordable housing. Now I understand why he's so involved in the community the way he is. That's part of his business. But because he's a politician, you know they have to step away from the business side of things. I said, that's why he's so involved. And see, this time, I wanted to write some phone numbers down too. My goal is educating the community. And if you in your city, wherever you at, Chicago, Philly, wherever you at, when you come on here, TikTok, it's okay when you come up to talk about your city and the great things that you are doing with other organizations that's in your community. The reason why, because somebody in that area might be listening to you so they can connect with y'all. Somebody gonna tell me yesterday, I did this and I did that. I ain't go talk about it, this and that. I'm like, well, you should have. If you've done such a great job, that's called letting people know. Well, advertising too. You doing great things in the community, but I ain't gotta tell nobody. How people know what's going on in the community? Do you know how dumb you sound when you say stuff like that? I ain't gotta tell everybody. And that's only black people. You doing a great job in the community. A lot of people don't know where these organizations at, nonprofits at, don't know where these programs at, because you ain't telling them. And you think that's cool. And you came up to make a statement like that. And I said to myself, listen to this. You doing business, you don't promote your business, won't nobody know you have a business. But then y'all will say stuff like, oh, it's by word of mouth. That one too, I understand. Believe me, I understand. That's all I got to do is tell y'all I have a housing program where I work with the homeless and the less fortunate individuals and families. Can you donate financially? Some of them come in, they don't have money to, get proper personal stuff. You get me? Some of them come through the door. They don't have money for food and all that because they just spent it. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have to feed them. So I ask y'all to donate towards me helping them. Whatever you give me is going to go towards the people. Some people might not have money straight out to pay for their space. If you donate a little something every month, I don't have to turn people away as many. I don't get grant money. It's a lot of people I know don't get grant money, but we do great work. Because we have people with businesses, they might not help us a lot financially, but they donate. They have no problem with donating. Markets, warehouses with clothing, furniture, all that. I got to put my man on this list too. Godfrey Malen. Come on, family. The good part about what I do, Baltimore City, I already know I ain't by myself. I already know. I'm not by myself. Got Uncle T out there. You got Squeaky out there. You got Erica Bradford out there. You got Lisa Moloch. You have Cherie Rogers out there. You got Christine Flowers out there. You got Shelly Stefani out there. You got Marcus out there. Fathers, come on, Marcus, because I just put you on my list. Fathers for Fathers. He's doing a great job. He's growing. Thank you, y'all. Thank y'all. He's down there with my girl, Michelle, at the Food Project. Come on, y'all. Come on. I've been doing this for some years to help Baltimore City. I was once part of the problem. A lot of y'all want to still try to make me out to be a part of the problem. That's not how I roll. That shame and that guilt, I'm going to tell y'all right now, because of how God turned my life around, how Jesus turned my life around. If I practice a lot of that old bull crap again, I know the Holy Spirit going to eat me up. I already know it. It's a lot of people that profess God. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm just going to tell you, that's not where I'm at. Okay? Baltimore City, that's not what Steve Copeland is. I don't care what nobody say about me. I've been getting phone calls. They over here talking about you. I said, oh, yeah. I'm over here minding my business. Y'all can keep me in your mouth all you want. I know the truth. And that's what I had to realize, family. My 12-step spiritual journey is based around my love and my compassion for Jesus Christ. My love and my compassion for Jesus Christ. I strive each and every day to be the best human being I can be when it comes to serving him. Lord, what do you want me to do today? Basically, what do you want me to say out my mouth? I don't know where you at. That this message that he's putting on my heart and my mind to bring out, I don't know where you at. I don't know if you're in Philly. I don't know if you're in California. I don't know if you're in the UK. I don't know if you're in Africa. And I know I'm being seen in Africa. There go Maxwell. And there's people that'll come on my TikTok to let me know they in other states or countries. So that's why I know we're being seen all over the world. I try my best to carry myself in a professional way. I was getting ready to say in a non-professional way, right? Because y'all know I can be ghetto. I can be ghetto, but it ain't about y'all. It's about getting the message out there and bringing it with a sense of humor. I ain't for all that uptight bull junk like a lot of us trying to please, just being me. Love y'all, be more, and I'm out. Love y'all, family.